Do you think you could have rejected that calling or invitation from your
Oh
ancestors?
God, yes. I
What do
think
you think would have happened for you? Like, if you could kind of like tap into your intuition a little bit, what would it have been like for you this now? Like, if you could say, had I rejected that call, that invitation, then looking at where you would be now, like kind of projecting for yourself a little bit, what do you think would be different in your life?
a lot, a lot. My life has changed completely in the past year, but I think it would have turned into illness.
Mm,
I believe it would have turned into illness. I believe it would have manifested in in my body as pain. I believe that it would have manifested as limitations in my self-worth if I wouldn't have gone through the bullshit that I went through.
mm. Yeah.
Because it was, and I'm sorry, ancestors, but damn, they could have given me a little bit. But there was a moment there where I did feel like I didn't want to continue the journey. This is exhausting, and I don't see the end of the rainbow because it was one thing behind the other thing behind the other thing. But thankfully, like Sylvia said, I had my circle to help me, and I could call upon and say, guys, this is what's happening. This is what I just found out. This is what I just heard. You know, I don't think I can deal with this anymore. Right. And there were things that, were, in my children's lives where it was just where I saw that, okay, this is why I have to heal what I have to heal because it's going to continue. And it was very painful because it's true, Abby, when they say, when you heal, your family heals. And I saw it
Damn
happen
straight it do.
Mhm.
because I saw, and you guys saw my family go through it as well. I'd call you and say, Abby, Carol, hey, my son's going through this right now. My daughter's going through this. And those were the moments where I was like, do I really want to continue to do this? Because I could see it manifesting in my kids, but they're the closest to me. So I could see that it was healing, right? But it's a painful journey. Um, as for you, when you spoke about the yoga, everybody, I'm doing yoga, I'm doing yoga. I'm not. I have like the stiffest hips ever, I swear. It's like, I need to do yoga for many reasons. but, but, but what's it called? Intention is key. It's not just going through the motions. It's
Mhm.
you can turn on a freaking candle and pray on it, but if you're just repeating the words and you're not feeling it and your intention and your heart is not in it, it's just a light. There's no power in it, you know? And Sylvia, I don't want to discredit you in any way, but there are no ordinary people. The muggles have power too. And it's the power of their words, and it's a funny thing because just how they have the power of the word to heal, they have the power of the word to chingarnos, to fuck us up, right? And it takes just because it's intention. It doesn't have to be a curse. It's just the intention, that anger, that malice. When you have that thought in that word, that's enough to have an effect on a person, right? And that's the same thing when you say it with love and you say it, that's why they say when you hug somebody, hug them like you mean it, because it might be the only hug they're getting with love and you don't know, and that's when you're going to spread it. So
Yes.
intention is key, and we forget the power in that. We forget our power, you know.
True.
But
100%.
for me, it was very, um, I don't think I never thought about saying, I don't want to do this anymore. It was more like, how much longer? When am I going to see it? You know, when am I going to go ahead and see what I'm working for? And, sometimes when you're under that cloud, you can't see it because you're so stuck under the cloud and you have this vision of what you think it's going to look like when you get out of under it. but it's so much better. It's just a bitch to get out of under that cloud. So when I tell people, I'm going to help you go through the healing, I am, because I know exactly what you're going through, but I'm not going to feel it for you. I'm going to walk with you through it, you know? And so for me, like I said, I was chosen for this responsibility. Um, and it was confirmed by Miss Gabby there. And I was like, ah, she told me, you know, God, you need to do this. I'm like, but why? If they love me, why are they treating me this way? You know, and I could have had the choice to say no. I could have had the choice, but I think that I would be a completely different person. I probably wouldn't be smiling. I probably wouldn't be at peace. I probably wouldn't be, you know, with Tapajtiani flourishing the way it is now. I wouldn't be in my power, which it took a lot, as you know, for me to come out of the witch closet. A lot. It's like, I'm going to go with you guys, but don't tell them I'm with you guys. Kind of thing.
Mhm.
And
Us out there that are like that. Praise, you're in good company. You bring up something that I'm interested to hear what Gabby and Kara's perspectives are on this. You said that you didn't choose it. So, Kara, do you feel like you don't choose what wounds or what lessons that you have in your life, in your current life, in your past lives? Like, do you feel like that you don't have any sort of choice, or in that it's something that just gets like put on you? Or, what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I mean, Yvette, as you were talking, that was actually something I was thinking that would be like a good question to ask for people that like aren't in this line of work, or like people who aren't familiar with it. It's like, well, how do you know your ancestors want you to do something, right? Like, well, like what the fuck does that
Mhm.
mean? So for me, it's like I don't know what the right word is. I don't want to say I'm not as sensitive as Yvette, but I'm like, maybe I'm not as in tune, or I don't know. I think I I'm obviously spiritual, right? And I believe in all of that. I specialize in past lives, and I do my past lives different than Gabby and Abby, and but I think for me, I I pick and choose what I want to work on. Um, Also, I think for me, I get things very specifically. Like how I get like intuitive hits, like it's not always the same. It's super random. Like sometimes I just think I'm crazy. Like so I think for me it's like I mean I do pick and choose. Like I know for me like a lot of work has happened lately around I guess like power and boundaries and like inner knowing. And I'm sure there are other things like I could like there are definitely like um I'm pretty sure like female ancestral wounds that I haven't done anything with. I'm pretty sure there are masculine ancestral wounds that I haven't done anything with. I also think for me, I think it's very different, right? Because like I'm choosing not to have children, right? So like I'm selfish. And so I want to work on like the things that are going to benefit me in this current lifetime.
Mm.
I think like for me, maybe it'd be different if I were like, I'm going to have kids. I'd be like, oh, I don't want to fuck them up. Like, let me sort this shit out, you know? But that's not for me this lifetime. So for me, like right now, again, it's going to change, but like, I will say like, I do pick and choose whether it's intentional or not, that I don't know. Whether
Mm.
it's because I'm just not getting these things as I've gotten other bits of information, maybe, but also I can't like I personally cannot focus on more than like one or two wounds at a time, or like traumas or past life issues. Um like you guys know this about me. I hate like girl boss error. I literally just want to retire like tomorrow. If I could, I would never work again. Um And so for me, like trying to do all the things in between, like day jobs and life and sleep is like a lot for me. So like I have a set of practices that I do every day that take 10 minutes. That's it. And then it fluctuates. So like if I had the ancestors or whatever coming down like Yvette did, I'd probably just lose it and be calling you guys every day. Like, make it stop. Blah. So I pick and choose. That's probably not the right way to do things. Or again, long-winded answer. I pick and choose, or I don't notice. So it's oblivious. One of those. I don't know what
Okay.
happens.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Go ahead, Gabby.
Do you
Okay,
think do you think you choose? Or do you think
I
that others people choose? Do you think you have choice?
so I do because I chose. But my guides made it very hard for me to not take this path. So I need to just say that Kara is a Taurus. She's an expensive Taurus. So all the nice things.
Gabby's read many of my charts many times. All of them. She knows me well. She knows me better than I know me. I literally have to send her voice notes and ask her to remember things about my life.
And you know what? I'm here for it. I love it. I love that you're just like, let's live in the divine femme and be supported and all the things. I'm not mad at it. Not at all. I'm like, I think I like to work, so that's probably my setback. But I was so I came into this work honestly like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I think, this coming December. But I had always had a connection with a higher power. But I went through this really fun thing called a Saturn return. And your Saturn return is your astrological initiation into adulthood. And everything I was working towards, which was,
Wait, hold, for the people who don't know, Saturn return is 28, right?
Yeah, it's like 27 to 30, 28 pretty much. Yeah. So it's rough if you're not on path. And I was not on path for what my soul chose to do. And now looking back, it all makes sense, right? But when you're in it, it sucks. But I was very much on path to be a board member by the time I was 40. And it's the fit that mold that the patriarchy really kind of paints a picture for in this current, dimension and earth as we know it. But things are changing. And I had a really unfortunate experience where it was like, it was enough for me to, I had actually my first psychic reading throughout that time. And they were like, this is not it for you. You're meant to live a more spiritual path, which when someone, and this is what I can appreciate about you, Kara, is that like, we like the nice things. We want the sense of security that comes with it. And it's kind of hard sometimes to, at least for me back then, and now like I've seen examples and have been expanded, that you can support yourself doing this work, and it is safe and it is okay for you to get paid, and you should get paid for supporting other people and doing, God's work and helping them better themselves and live a more aligned life. But when I was, a couple of years ago, when I was younger, not that I'm not young now, I don't know that I had any examples of that. And so I had really gone through an unfortunate experience where they were like, this is one path, this is the other. And it's going to be the scarier option, but it's what your soul came to do. So at that point, even I had that free will, but I decided, I was like, oh, I'm going the spiritual path. And I'm so glad that I did, because I think it's really empowering to be able to help others. And then by association, you're really helping yourself because you're doing what your soul really came here to do. So free will. I am a little jaded though with being an astrologer, because you see like what you're supposed to be doing and like really like what it's specific to you, right? Like it's even different for twins. So I chose, but again, I didn't, I considered the other option. The other option wasn't so fun. This one's a lot better.
The idea of choice, I think, is one that really truly bugs people, and bugs in like both good and bad ways,
Yeah.
especially when we're talking about soul contracts, because a lot of people either don't know, and this is the larger category that I run into. People don't know that as a soul, you choose. You sit down with your council and you're like peeps, and you go, so where am I right now? Where was I? How did I do in that last one? What do I want to do to allow myself to move forward, to get to that ultimate goal of oneness with source, God, the universe? And some of the things that we sit down with our people, right? Ancestors council, there's a lot, it's our council, and from what I've experienced and who I've talked to and gotten hits from. Other spiritual people may say otherwise, but there's a lot of different beings who can be on your council, and ancestors can be one. So I fully believe Yvette had more than one ancestor up in her business, telling her exactly what was going to be on her soul contract. And being able to say, you know what, if this is the goal, right, what is the best path to get there? And we sit down and we say, okay, what are the lives and what are the lessons and what are the things? And we pick. And then once we're in this life, and as Gabby knows, we choose our birthday. As she was just saying, different even for twins, right? We choose our birthday and our birth time. And from that, you get a whole mess of information, a whole blueprint for you. Human design plays a huge role in this now that, that has been developed in being able to help you along your path. Enneagram, all these things, right? All based on your birthday, your birth time, the place on the earth you chose to come in on, the parents you decided to choose, right? And how they are living their lives and what lessons and wounds and healings that they had, right? It's all a choice. But that's hard for people because within our lives, right, once we come in here, we experience hardship, right? We experience trauma. And when you say to people, oh, well, go back, when we're looking for who to blame, when we are in our righteous self-indignation, hard and deep, and we're like, who do I blame for this nonsense that has happened to me? It is really freaking hard to get to the end and have somebody tell you, it's you. Mirror work is so hard because subconsciously we understand that who we're looking at is the exact person we got to be having a conversation with about what has happened to us, good, bad, and otherwise, what it is that we're going through, the path that we have chosen, right? And I love what Gabby and Yvette were saying about you could have chosen differently. Gabby could have said, heck yeah, Fortune 500, CEO, boss, board member, private jet, 10 figures, screw 6 figures, we're shooting for 10, right? Yvette could have said, no, Brew Hakurendera life, not for me. I'm not, no. Having to help other people walk through their pain, not what I want. But they did choose that. And whether they remembered that they wrote that on their contract or not, the fact of the matter is they chose here. And I think this is where the power lies, guys. And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts around this. Is the power for you, knowing that your soul contract was yours to choose, and the extra cherry on top was that you get to choose again. You get to choose again, fully conscious, fully aware, fully intentioned, stepping up in like eyes wide open, saying, no, I'm choosing to be like a kick-ass astrologer. No, I'm choosing to be somebody who works with people, teaches them how to breathe, it teaches them how to feel into their past lives, understanding and recognizing it, being a teacher, educating young minds. I'm choosing that. I get to do that. That's powerful, at least in my opinion. And I am another one that I fully saw where my life was and had to choose again to honor my soul contract, to honor my pain and my trauma and learn from my past lives. So what are your guys' thoughts as like panel? Where do you stand on the empowerment piece? Is the empowerment piece, do you agree? Do you disagree? And if you disagree, I'd love to know where you feel like that empowerment comes. Where does that lie for you? Yvette, can we start with you?
for me, the empowerment comes with the healing, I think. And the empowerment comes with choosing yourself, which was very huge for me and very hard for me because I was afraid to be who I am, you know? And it's funny because there's a hat that I wear and it says bruja on it. And I only wear it like around the house, but this time I decided to wear it to Universal Studios. That was my secret, my indirect way of coming out, right? And it was just so interesting the way some people looked at me and some of them like wanted to approach me. And then others just literally, I mean, my daughter and I sat down to eat and the people next to us got up and moved to a different table, right? And it was just so interesting and an eye-opener of how people, my fear being put in my face, right? So I fixed my hat and I ate and I was very happy with my daughter and I was like playing with her little girl and her little girl loves this bruja. So for me, that moment was very empowering because when you say bruja, a lot of people right away think curse. But in reality, what is a bruja? They use herbs, they use energy, they use their magic of the palabra, you know? They work with creator. And I remember when I'm gonna tell you, when I started this path, my mom, I was raised very Catholic. My mom was like so concerned about me and getting into this dark way because she saw crystals in the living room or something, or my room. And she had like other ladies from the church and my aunts praying for me. And I'm all like, if she only knew that now I am closer to creator than I have ever been and never been taught to be by my religion, you know? And for me, that was very empowering. And for me to embrace myself in the ability of what I can do and speak about it openly and share it and teach it and help people on their journey, that for me makes me feel complete, you know? And even though I was doing it before, I was happy because I was doing it, but I didn't feel complete like I feel right now. And, you know, it's like, you know, to fall back on what you said about contracting in. Yeah, you know, I contracted to come in and heal my lineage. My ancestors chose me, but dang, you don't remember what you contracted into until it's put in front of your face. And I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Seriously, you know, what the hell was I thinking? And but I'm grateful. I'm grateful. It's empowering not only as a woman and for myself, but I also believe that it's empowering for the people around us. Like for me, it's part of my strength to have a group of women, you know, my coven that I can rely on and that I can go ahead and call upon, whether it be a question that I have out of that moment, a decision that I have to make, or an emotion that I'm feeling. What's this that's coming up for me? Or you know what? I can't get out of my bed today. There's strength and there's power in honoring myself as well. And for me, that's what the whole healing path is for me. Is like it's a way of me being true to myself. And that only happened through the journey of healing for me. And and I have to say the disclaimer on that unfortunately healing is hard because our life changes. It's not what we thought it was supposed to be. You know, we thought we were supposed to have A, B, and C. And once you healed, you figure out it's H, G, and F, you know, and it's okay to be that, but it's not norm, or it's not what, you know, like Gabby said, I was supposed to have this career. This is the way we were raised. We were supposed to, be women of business and, big, empowered women in the business world, that nobody can take us down. And we say no to all of that because we take another path. And it is very scary because that's not who we were told we were supposed to be. But once you get to that point and you see that there's strength and fulfillment is the word, fulfillment in that, it's so much more empowering to me that I live a fulfilled life than I live an accomplished, what they thought was supposed to be an accomplished life,
Mm,
So I hope I answered
yeah.
the question.
Yes. Kara, where do you feel like the power is? Where is the empowerment for you?
I just want to make sure I'm understanding the question right. So where is the empowerment for me, like in this work, like in the healing and the trauma and the wounds?
In the awareness of your soul contracts and the wounds and the traumas that you've experienced, where is it that you can be, where do you find your empowerment? Where do you find your ability to move through it?
I think a big part of it for me, the empowerment comes from like knowledge and understanding. Like if I can understand the why, then that for me feels empowering. Like some people are like, you don't need to know the why, just surrender. Blah, blah, blah. I hate that. I know we have to surrender, whatever, but like I want to know why. And then I feel empowered. I think the other piece of the empowerment for me is knowing that like you can change it, like nothing's written in stone. And so it's like maybe you don't know how, maybe you don't know when, but like things can be changed. And then it's just like finding the people. If you don't know, like if you can't tap in or you aren't sure, like searching for the people that can help you. I think the other thing is the empowerment comes from just like my knowing, like knowing if someone else is sick, knowing if I'm going to get sick, knowing if this person is a fraud, knowing if like this business idea is bad, like whatever it is that I know, like knowing that my gut instincts are usually right, for better or worse. I think those three things are what empowers me for sure.
Gabby, same question. Where's the power for you? Where's the empowerment for you?
Very similar to what Kara just said. It's like I remember when I was going through my dark night of the soul, one of them, the first one, which I think is like the worst in my opinion. And it's like that season where you're just like, what is the purpose of my existence? Why am I here? And having a clear sense of why I incarnated on earth and why I'm here and like what the purpose of my work is very fulfilling, and that's where the power is at. And it's it's also just, you don't have to wonder if like what you're doing is like, I think asking the question, what if I had stayed, in something that I knew wasn't in alignment, like and what if I, had been in that position, and I'd be like, well, what if I like hadn't left, or decided to be an astrologer. So it's just, I never have to ask myself like, what if, because I know this is what my soul's supposed to be doing. So I would say that's where the power is for me.
Sylvia, a little bit of a different question for you, because as you have, said, you're like, I'm a regular human being, as if you're not special, which you are. But for you, you have watched kids grow with you. You have watched kids grow that came from you. And when you think about their choices of when you take into context this idea of they chose their soul contract same as you did, and there are certain things that you can't protect them from, where do you think the power lies? But take into consideration this idea of like you're looking at it not for yourself but for others.
There you go. I
There you go.
feel grateful to have that chance to work with the little kids. I totally adore these little souls. And I can tell you that I feel like I'm a facilitator. As Yvette said, I cannot fix their lives, but I can just like walk that path along with them. So what I usually would do with them, I feel that I'm pretty sensitive about like their needs, and and um and I can feel their suffering, and I think I'm very, I mean, in that sense, I'm very, uh, I feel a lot. I mean, and my feelings are very strong for them. So what I do is like, from what I've learned so far in my life, I try to facilitate for them strategies to deal with stuff. And I make sure that every time that they come into my classroom, and they're going to get a lot more than academics. So starting with energy work that I do for them, I pray for them. I teach them how to breathe. My teacher Abby taught me the box breathing, so we love the box breathing, for example. And we do yoga intentionally, of course. And I feel that I'm there to make them smile, to just like bring that joy into their lives and to give them hope. They need to know
Relying in
that
hope. I love that.
they
Yeah.
need to know that they are loved regardless of what's going on at home or in the world or around them. Um, I do have to say that I have a very specific group of children that I work with, and these are like migrant children with a very particular like circumstances, and uh, and it's just that I feel they need that joy and love. They need to feel that they belong, and I'm very intentional about building a community. Building community. I feel that they need to know that there's a community, even for parents. These are mothers, very young mothers. They don't know the language. They're very lost, and I try to bridge that gap between culture and languages, and to just like let them know that they, okay, I don't want to go into politics or anything like it, but it's not the US, but they have I mean, they belong to the world. I mean, they're women, I mean, they have a worth as human beings. And I feel that I'm an educator, but not only uh, as a teacher, like a language arts teacher, a reading teacher, a math teacher. I feel that I'm more than that. I feel that I am an educator of the soul, and uh, and I hope I'm doing a good job to make them feel happy and joyful and loved. For me, that's extremely important. I would say that that's my purpose in life, regardless of its teaching. I have to say that I always go like, I'm a teacher, but I've done, talking about choices, I have done in my 60 years of life, I have done so many more things. I've been
Mhm.
teacher, a yoga instructor. I've been like, you name it. I've been a painter.
Mhm.
I've been just like, like a lot of things. And yes, we do have choices. I love what Kara said. I took notes of what Kara said. As a Taurus, Kara's got like
Don't listen to anything I say.
words. I know Taurus. I'm surrounded by people that are Taurus, and they're so incredibly smart. And yes, I think that, I mean, that's my job, and I do feel that for me, the empowerment, and that comes also in my job, is it comes from knowing, and not knowing it all, but we do have, especially today, we have women, we have the resources, all these, I mean, possibilities to know things, and that gives us hope, that which is very, very important, especially today. I feel that a big part of young people, some of my students that are getting older, I'm still in touch with them, these young people are losing hope. And that's scary to see that our children and the women who raise these children are losing hope. Wow, I mean, I think we are in deep trouble. and I think that we do have choices. And I see you so young and so beautiful. Imagine all the choices that you have. I mean, I go like, oh my Lord, I mean, everything that you have ahead of you, no? And but basically, to answer your question, I feel that my job is to facilitate these children with a path full of um, self-knowledge, of self-worth, give them strategies that when things get tough around them, they can go back to them, and maybe they can write a little bit note to themselves or just say affirmations. We repeat affirmations every day in my class, and use their breathing techniques as well, no?
Thank you, everyone, for
Thank
being here. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. Know that at the end of this, soul contracts are your choice, and they are something that you have full control over. Your wounds, your traumas, your past lives as you go through, as you learn about them through regression and all of that, they all hold lessons for you. They all have empowerment for you. They all have places for you to learn and become better versions of who you are. And each and every one of us, I know I can speak for the ladies on this panel. We all believe that, and we all are here to help you with that in any way that you need. I will also make sure that all of these lovely ladies, that their contact information is also in the show notes and in all of the replay options, so that if you have any questions, if you want to get a reading or anything, if you want to ask questions of Miss Sylvia, I will make sure that there is an acceptable way to do that. Okay. Can't even tell you how much I appreciate it. And we have completed this edition, this Wounds, Traumas, and Past Life edition. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and share with anyone who you feel like needs this conversation. And of course, if you are interested in working with any of these ladies or just want to connect with them, all of their links and websites and things like that are down below. And of course, as we mentioned, there are charitable organizations that these ladies would like you to check into and help if you can, and spread some of the blessings around. All right, guys, that is it for this particular edition. We are on to the third edition of this Soul Contract series, and that is in business and leadership. So check out my YouTube channel for that here soon.